What's going on, Cougar fans, and welcome to Inside Geisman Gymnasium. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, but we have some hoops action for you tonight between the visiting Panthers of Principia College and the Cougars of Concordia University Chicago. I'm Parker Kelly, joined by my partner Peter Borkowski. Peter, let's go ahead and get into it first for the Panthers. They're coming into tonight with a 1-2 overall record, and they suffered their second biggest loss of the season last Saturday on the road at LaGrange College, 80-63. What were your overall takeaways from how the Panthers performed?
Yeah, the Panthers are kind of front-heavy team. They had three of their stars in Hinson, Rojas, and Matthews put up double-digit points. Alina Hinson put up 23. That's a career high for her. Meanwhile, Trinity Matthews with the double-double in points and rebounds. But after those three starters, Parker, things kind of fell apart for Principia. They only scored 3 points off the bench. So that might be something the Cougars, who we know Coach Martin is really trying to emphasize, is the depth of this Cougars team. That's going to be something that comes into play tonight. Principia's bench struggled a little bit in that LaGrange game. Coach Martin going to hopefully take advantage of that with her deeper bench and be able to pick up some points when those three main starters sit out. But those three starters, as well as the other starters for Principia, all very talented players. Three of them are averaging double-digit points. But once you get past those first five, things could look good for the Cougars.
And one thing about the Panthers you should know, they can score. They have 4 players averaging double-figure scoring. I know one player you wanted to highlight was Hinson, who set a new career high last weekend.
Right, those 23 points we mentioned, a career high for the 6-foot senior, putting up almost 19 points a game. And that 6-foot thing, that's something to really take note of, Parker. The Cougars sometimes struggle to guard bigger players, especially bigger, older players like Hinson, the senior. So if that could be troublesome come for the Cougars. Principia as a whole, 4 6-footers on the roster. 2 of them, Hinson and Matthews, are starting. Cougars, again, struggle sometimes against bigger players. We'll see if that takes effect tonight.
And now let's go ahead and talk about the Cougars. They come into tonight's matchup with a 2-3 overall record. And after starting the season 2-0, the Cougars have had their struggles as they've now dropped the last 3 games. Most recent contest coming on the road last Wednesday at Manchester College. The Cougars fell in a tight one, 66-59. And Peter, one player that really stood out, Alexis Desjardins.
Yeah, Desjardins, kind of the player to highlight right now. Cougars been dealing with some injuries to some of their starters like Michaela Ellis. She was back in that Manchester game, as she's still kind of trying to get in a groove coming out of a little bit of an injury. But Desjardins has taken over beautifully for the Cougars, averaging almost 10 points a game, has led the Cougars in scoring the past 2, including a season-high 15 at Manchester. And Desjardins, Parker, I don't need to tell you, a very physical player, can do a little bit of everything, can shoot, can rebound, can play defense. She's going to be a big factor tonight for the Cougars against Principia.
And I know Coach Martin and her squad happy to have Desjardins back out on the court. You mentioned very physical player. Let's go ahead and get into keys to the game. We'll both give one for the Cougars. Why don't you go ahead and start?
Well, for the Cougars, like I mentioned, it's all about those 6-footers for Principia. We saw in the Cougars season opener, their only game so far here at Geisman, kind of got outplayed by some of the bigger players on that Illinois College team. They're going to have to figure out a roadmap to stop that. In that Illinois College game, we saw them put Michaela Ellis because of her physical presence, maybe Alexis Desjardins. Abby Kulik's been impressive as a freshman, So the Cougars are just getting to figure out how to win that height battle despite having an overall shorter height than Principia. If they could figure that out, if this bench can play well, if they can be fast, they can shoot the threes like they love to do, this should be a good night for the Cougars.
And that ties in perfectly to what I'm getting ready to say. We mentioned that the Panthers have 4 6-footers on their roster. Meanwhile, the Cougars only have 1 with Allison McGregor. You mentioned 3-game skid. They're really struggling right now. How are you going to match up against these 6-footers that we're going to see tonight? You got to be physical. This is a smaller Cougars team, but they make up for it in some other aspects. But going to have to out-physical the Panthers for sure tonight.
Definitely. And Parker, one more thing, if you excuse me, want to wish a happy birthday. Janie Turner is on the Cougars, celebrating her birthday. So Cougars hopefully pulling off a W for our good friend Janie and going home with a lot of happy Cougar fans.
Absolutely. Well, we got a good one in store for you tonight between the Panthers and the Cougars. Tip-off is getting ready to be underway. But first, let's go ahead and send it down to courtside for a message from President of CUC, Dr. Russell Don.
Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Dawn, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
Cougar Nation, we love the support you give us on and off the court. To donate to our athletic communications department, hit the thank button.
This helps us to continue to have the best live stream possible for some great Cougar basketball moments.
Thank you and enjoy the game.
The national anthem has been played and the starting lineups have been said real quick just in case you missed it. We'll give you the rundown of the starting lineups. First for the Panthers, number 3, Carolina Rojas. Number 4, Taylor Brown. Number 12, Ariana Williams. Number 13, Alana Henson. And number 32, Trinity Matthews. As we get set for the opening tip-off, it is won by the Panthers. The Panthers moving left to right on your TV screen. The Cougars are going to start out on defense. And taking the first shot was number 12, Williams, but the Panthers get the offensive rebound. A good way to start for Principia College. Another offensive rebound that's pulled in by Matthews up at the free throw line. That's a shot. No good, but the Panthers got 3 offensive rebounds already to start out. Not a good start defensively for the Cougars. As a drive, believe that is from Taylor Brown, and she's not able to get it to go. The Cougar is going to get on offense.
And should mention Layla Scott making her 4th start of the season. Some really good help defense down at low, kind of planted herself in the paint, able to move over wherever the attacker was. That's how it caused all those missed Panther shots.
And now Michaela Ellis standing at the top of the key. She gets it to Desjardins, who's cutting in, passes it back out to Reed, whose 3 is no good. Offensive board by Ellis. Again, we talked about the physicality that the Cougars are going to need to bring tonight. Good start, getting that offensive rebound. Now Reed, and she's fouled.
Man, you want to talk about confidence from a freshman. We saw it in the season opener with Reed. Of course, those memorable multiple three-point shots that she made in that late stretch of the game. And then just the confidence, jacks up a 3, very first possession she gets of the game, and then cuts to the rim hard. It draws the foul. It was a good find by Michaela Ellis, starting in her first game since that season opener due to injury. Got some minutes off the bench against Manchester. She's trying to get back in the groove of things after missing a couple games.
Reed's first free throw attempt is no good. The Cougars have actually really improved in that category. They rank first in the NAC in free throw percentage, shooting about 71%, as Reed misses her second free throw attempt as well. So 0 for 2 from the line. Panthers going to go back on offense. Reed trying to play some tough defense at the top. Gets it over to Henson. Now back to Brown. Brown is going to try to drive, dishes it back out to Matthews, and Matthews' layup is good.
Good move there by Trinity Matthews. Layla Scott, like I said, she comes over to play some help defense. Matthews able to duck under her, put the ball on the ground, goes up for the layup. Nice move there by number 32 in blue.
Now Michaela Ellis trying to back her down. The signature shot, and the Cougars on the board as the 2 is good from Michaela Ellis. Her signature step-back jumper is good.
You can tell the Cougars really missed her offense during that injury. She's almost a given for 15-plus points a game, and it's because of that she's able to make those tough jumpers. If you're able to score whenever you have space, you're, of course, going to be a dangerous player.
And that goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Cougars, so the Panthers going to get another crack at it. Passing it in will be Brown.
Cougars got to be a little careful in terms of the fouling tonight. Gave up 43 free throws. Nice steal there by McGregor against Manchester.
Really
they got to
nice
get that
steal.
number down.
Gets it up to Reed, trying to get it to Ellis, but it's intercepted by Ariana Williams. Really nice handsy play from her, who gets it to Matthews, and Matthews gets the easy layup.
Matthews definitely does not play like your traditional 6-footer. Very quick, very shifty, able to bounce around. You know, compare that to someone like Hinson, who's going to stay in that post.
And now Reed, a tough drive and falls to the ground. She's able to get back up. Looks like Reed might have been fouled for a second time, so she's going to take another trip to the charity stripe to try to redeem herself. Mentioned 0 for 2, her first time to the line. So second trip here early in the first quarter.
Well, I mentioned that Cougars gave up 43 free throw attempts to Manchester in their last game. They only had 9 of their own, only made 9 of their own, and that's really something that's kind of an art form in basketball that goes unnoticed sometimes, is the ability to draw fouls. Not just get fouls, but be able to go to the rim, be able to draw them. And Kalia Reed, even though she hasn't been able to score a field goal yet, is showing that with her second trip already to the charity stripe here.
That's been an emphasis for the Cougars as Reed goes 1 for 2 from the line. Cougars trailing by 1.4 to 3 here early in the first. That pass was hauled in by Lisa White, who just came into the game for the Panthers. Her layup hits the back iron, no good. Now Reed taking it down the court. The Cougars moving right to left. Now Ellis at the top of the three-point line, gets it back out to Reed. Reed's going to try to drive in, gets it to McGregor. Now Desjardins, who's going to pull the trigger. That's no good. Rebound by the Panthers.
And players all over the ground so far tonight. A lot of physicality off ball especially.
And now that's into Trinity Matthews. That's Paige Fowler, who also came into the game for the Panthers. She just sidesteps Desjardins and gets the layup. And now Reed, analyzing her options, thought about getting it to McGregor in the post. Now over to Leela Scott, the freshman, making the start today for the Cougars. Little trouble handling it up top.
The Cougars got to get something off. 3 left on the shot clock. Put one up.
Reed's just going to throw up a prayer, and no good. Shot clock violation. So the Panthers going to go right back on offense. We'll get a couple of substitutions for the Cougars. Into the game comes number 0, Missouri Wiggum, who's really stepped up here early this season. Her last outing had 10 points, 10 rebounds, her first double-double of her career. And also coming into the game at number 31, Abby Kulig, the freshman. And also number 1, Malia Perry, the senior.
Yeah, you mentioned Missouri Wingham in our pregame for the season opener, and that was some really nice preseason scouting there. Wingham's really had not only expanded role this year, but she's living up to it too, as Abby Kulig slams into the extra set of bleachers.
So we've seen a couple of tough falls from the Cougars, one from Reed and one from Kulig, but Kulig appears to be all right. A good sign for the Cougars. Panthers going to pass it in. Now a quick 3 from Rojas is no good. Looks like she was trying to draw the foul from Kalia Reed. Now Wiggum. Perry wide open into the post, but the pass just a little late from Kulig. It's tipped by the Panthers.
So that's something you notice right now with the Cougars is they're taking an extra second or so between every pass. They start banging the rock around a little bit quicker. They're going to find open looks like that, like Kulig just had, before Principia is able to respond.
And now the last bucket came off the hands of Ariana Williams. That's going to force Coach Lauren Martin to take a timeout for the Cougars. Panthers leading CUC 8-3. You're listening to the Cougar Sports Network.
Appreciate you tuning into today's game.
To stay up to date to all things CUC women's basketball, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUCWBall.
We'll see you on campus soon.
And we're back here on the Cougar Sports Network. Full timeout taken by Coach Lauren Martin as the Panthers lead the Cougars 8-3. Peter, Cougars haven't scored in over 2 minutes, just looked a little sluggish on the offensive end.
Yeah, again, I mentioned it, but just the passing is a tick behind, the modern day, NBA offense, basketball offense in general, is you got to pass that ball quick. As soon as you get that ball, you need to immediately go where your next look is.
And Kalia Reed decides to take a three-pointer. That's off the front of the rim. Offensive rebound by the Cougars. Now Malia Perry from that jumper is good. Malia Perry making an instant impact coming off the bench. She gets her first points of the night.
See, that's a little bit more what we're talking about. As soon as Perry got that ball from Ellis, she's able to step back, hit that jumper. That is perfect execution there. It took maybe 2 seconds between those two players to get a bucket.
An offensive rebound by number 24, Deja Carter, extends that Panther lead. Panthers leading the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference in offensive rebounds per game with 16. so far they are killing it on the offensive rebounds. They have 7 total here early, just killing the Cougars on the boards. And now Perry tries to get it to Kayla Ellis. Ellis dishes it over to Wiggum. Wiggum thought about it, gets it back out. Now Ellis a deep three. That's no good. Rebound by the Panthers.
So not a terrible look there by Ellis, especially with just 5 seconds left on the shot clock. You wish they got a little bit closer, however.
Now another offensive board by Deja Carter. This time gets fouled. She's going to go to the line. This is the first trip to the free throw line for Principia. That foul called on number 0, Missouri Wiggum, the senior out of Naperville, Illinois.
As for the 3 ball, Cougars have been taking a lot of them already, and they're 0 for 4 so far. And that's something else you kind of want to see with this Cougars that they've struggled with the last couple seasons is when the 3 ball is not going well, when you're shooting 0 for 4 to start a game from beyond the arc, what are you going to do to alter that? You got to change things up a little bit. You got to get a little bit closer to the basket. You know, I know there's something that you said about just doing it until it eventually works, but when you're down by 7 points early here, you got to change it up quick enough that you're not going to fall in too big a hole.
And now Reed, another 3, no good. Rebound by Brown. And decides to slow things down for the Panther offense. Gets it in the post to Matthews. Matthews, hook shot, no good. Now Perry, quick in transition. She misses. And a rebound by Reed. Looks like a foul was called as she tried to save it.
So that should go on number 20, Maila Gallegos. And kind of a lucky break there for the Cougars from Malia Perry. Wide open lane. You know there's a little pressure at the very end of the play, but you got to be able to convert on those fast break opportunities.
Now some more substitutions in for the Panthers. Number 13, Alana Henson, and number 31, Genesis Santiago. Is a travel called on the Cougars. Just a sloppy possession for them. Taking it up the court is Santiago.
Miracle Anderson on that one. 4 games played so far, averaging 8.5 minutes.
Got to mention that Anderson just came off the bench and into the game for the Panthers. Another lousy play and a foul. That one's going to go on Missouri Wiggum. Her second foul here in the first quarter. Looks like she just reached over the top. So got that hand of Brown.
Caught her on the back of the hand. It was a good defensive setup for the Cougars. They had Abby Kulig in the front. They had Missouri Wingham in the back. So you're able to kind of trap her. But, yeah, Missouri Wingham just too physical from behind hitting the hand.
And Brown's second free throw. Nothing but net, so 2 for 2 on her trip to the free throw line. Panthers now 4 for 4 from the charity stripe. Meanwhile, the Cougars 1 for 4.
And the Cougars, they got to take Wingham off now. She's already got 2 personal fouls, so you need to sit her, even though she's been contributing some really good minutes as of late.
And now Ellis, the jumper. No good off the front of the rim. Rebound by the Panthers. Santiago taking it up the court. Gets it over to Brown, who's going to try a 3. No good off the back iron. Trying to fight for that rebound is Perry. The Cougars going to get tangled up. A jump ball.
Possession, Cougars.
Possession arrow favors the Cougars. So the Cougars going to try to get something going on offense as they trail by 9 with 2:41 remaining in the first quarter. Mentioned Princess Gates also coming off the bench, so Coach Martin utilizing a little bit of her depth here early.
And Romero Dominguez desperately trying to call a timeout during that last scramble, just not in time before the jump ball was called. The Cougars, they got to get something going here, struggling to score in this game, bit of a drought here. And that'll do it.
That'll help as Ellis cuts to the rim, gets the floater.
So that's what it's going to take. The jump shots aren't falling. The field goals aren't going. You're going to have to be able to cut to the rim and get some layups, get some post play. Because right now, shots just are not falling for CUC.
Now that shot misses the mark. That was Henson who shot from the free throw line. Another timeout going to be called as we're going to get a 30-second timeout by Coach Martin. We're going to go ahead and keep it here. 2:02 remaining as the Cougars trail 16-7. And Peter, we talked about the offensive woes for the Cougars, but that last possession, the two-pointer from Michaela Ellis, could have maybe sparked something for this offense going forward.
Yeah, I think you need to see a little bit more movement out of this Cougars offense. It's a lot of standing around, maybe a little bit of shifting, but not a lot of cutting, not a lot of screens and pick and rolls, whatever, pick and pops, whatever you want to do. So what it is right now is a lot of really stagnant players, and when we already talked about how slow the passing is at points, well, you're not going to get open looks that way. That's a big reason shots aren't falling, as a lot of these are contested shots. So Cougars maybe a little bit more off-ball movement coming off of screens. They got to be able to get to that rim. They just got to get open, period.
And now a sloppy pass by Miracle Anderson. That is Taylor Brown who got the steal. Her layup no good. Cougars bailed out right there off the miss from Brown. And now Princess Gates.
So that was a lazy shot from Brown. Just kind of hucked it up there from the hip.
Didn't go up strong and just kind of threw it up there, as Gates is going to try to drive in, and she gets the layup to go.
Princess Gates, extremely explosive off that first step. That's kind of the solution we're talking about to the stagnant problem, is being able to get players like her cutting, get them to the rim quick.
And now nice footwork from Williams. She's not able to get it in there. Cougars going to go back on offense. And now substitution into the game as Reed comes back into the game for the Cougars here in the first quarter. Panthers trying to apply a little bit more pressure defensively. Gets it on over to Reed, who's going to take another three-pointer. That one's missed off the front of the rim. She just has not been able to find that three-point stroke that she's had in the first 5 games of the season.
No, that's probably the best look she's gotten tonight, too. Open off the Ellis pass. And sometimes all it takes is you make that first one, but still waiting to make that first one.
And now Brown gets a couple of friendly bounces. That one finds the bottom of the net.
The Cougars can hold till about the last shot here. At least hit double digits going into the break.
And now a three from Perry. She's going to get her miss, drive in, tries to get it to Kulig. The players just too close together. Didn't look like Kulig was expecting that one.
No, Kulig was not ready for that pass.
And now Princess Gates falls over, and it's going to be out of bounds on her. So now the Panthers' shot clock is off. They have 7 seconds to work with.
So Cougars can't allow a bucket here. You got to be in going into breakdown by 10, and that's just a defensive
And Brown
break.
just going to drive right in there. It looked like the Cougars didn't even want to play defense. Weren't expecting Panthers to take a shot.
No, Brown was just moving around some pylons right there. You cannot have a defensive collapse like that. You have a chance to go into the first quarter break within 10 points. Now you're going down double digits. So bad break there for the Cougars. They need to clean that up.
A bad break for the Cougars results in their biggest deficit of the game so far. Still early. The Cougars trail 20-9. We'll bring you second quarter here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Fans,
Thanks for tuning into today's game.
for more information on the women's basketball program, head to cucougars.com.
We hope to see you at our next game.
And we're back for second quarter action here on the Cougar Sports Network as the Panthers lead CUC 20-9. Real quick, let's go ahead and talk about that last play as the layup from Brown. Again, we talked about that at the end of the first quarter. It looked like the Cougars really weren't even trying on the defensive end.
No, and I think that's the story of the first quarter for the Cougars is just not a ton of effort overall, whether it's defensively like that, just letting players cut to the rim, or offensively off ball, players just kind of staying around waiting for the pass. Cougars need to come alive here in the second, at least close this gap before halftime hits.
And now Desjardins is going to try a three, and it's good. Nothing but net for Alexis Desjardins, who's led the Cougars in scoring the past 2 games, and she gets her first points of the night.
That's a great play there from the Cougars. Desjardins basically using Reed as the screen on the pass. She had wide open space to hit that three. Cougars need a bit more of that to get some of these open shots.
And now Desjardins, you're going to get it to Kulig, and the Cougars. Hot start here in the second quarter.
I said it earlier. All it takes is one bucket, and that kind of opens the floodgates. Now Cougars need to respond defensively as they let up an open three here.
And no good by the Panthers, but offensive rebound by Alyssa White.
Good defense there by Desjardins. I don't know if I'd exactly call it a block, but you got a hand up there to contest.
You mentioned it in the pregame show, just a very physical player is Desjardins.
Cougars look a little bit more energetic here in the second already.
And now Reed's going to drive in, but travel will be called. So the Panthers going to go right back on offense.
So you can't let this be a momentum killer here for CUC. You get back-to-back buckets, including a three from Desjardins. Now it's time to toughen up on defense, cause some turnovers, get right back on the offense.
Now Carolina Rojas taking it up the court for the Panthers. Looks like
bottom corner, someone's open.
Cougars trying to apply a little bit more pressure defensively. Another offensive rebound by Deja Carter. The Cougars just cannot corral the rebound, as I believe it goes out of bounds on the Cougars. So the Panthers going to stay with the ball. And it just looks like, from our viewpoint up in the booth, the Panthers just always standing in the right place at the right time to get those rebounds.
Panthers 11 of their 18 rebounds, all offensive, as they're doing some good work down in the paint. We talked about the height advantage they have, and we're seeing that come true in the rebound numbers.
And a foul by Malia Perry is going to send Deja Carter back to the free throw line. Just a size disadvantage down in the paint as Perry was guarding Carter. That's Carter's first miss from the free throw line tonight. That one does not find the bottom of the net. Second attempt gets another friendly bounce. See what the Cougars can get going on offense as Reed, just a wide open lane, just not able to convert the layup. She had nobody in front of her.
Executing has been a bit of a problem tonight. Not the first time we've seen a blown layup from CUC. You got to be able to finish those. Those are free candy right there.
Cougars amping up the defense in the paint as Deja Carter's just been having her way so far, but the rebound pulled in by the Cougars. Desjardins going to take a deep three. That's no good. Rebound Panthers.
I don't hate the idea by Desjardins. Comes up behind Reed again, basically uses the passer as the screener, but you hope it's a little bit closer, maybe a foot or so.
And now the Panthers right back on offense, as that's going to be a three attempt from Rojas. And
hits the rope up top.
Hits the rope up top. So Cougars just going to go right back, get another crack at it. We get a couple of substitutions for the Panthers. Number 12, Ariana Williams, as well as number 32, Trinity Matthews. And also for the Cougars, Princess Gates, going to make her second appearance of the evening, as Reed dribbles up top. Gets it to Kulig, standing on the wing. Cougars not doing a great job of spacing as that pass is intercepted by Williams.
Principia has been active in those picks tonight. Oh, watch out.
And now a high pass from Williams. That was intended for Matthews, who was standing on that right block just way over her head. So a turnover from Principia. And for the first time tonight for the Cougars, into the game comes number 55, Sydney Mitchell. She'll come in relief for Kalia Reed. Mitchell is going to take it for the Cougars. She gets the play call from Coach Martin. Mitchell gets it to Kulig. Kulig's going to take a three. We don't see that very often. It's no good. Rebound Panthers.
Good hand there by Kulig, able to deter the shot from Hinson.
And now Alana Henson, the 18-footer, no good. As Sydney Mitchell going to take it right back. She's going to take a quick shot. It looks like Trinity Matthews got a piece of it.
She did. Refs say it's going to Principia, but that shot looked like it was severely altered.
Yeah, definitely looked like it was, might have been out on Trinity Matthews.
They're going to reverse the call.
Reverse the call, so Cougars going to stay on offense. As Michaela Ellis, the inbound, gets it into McGregor. Now Perry, a quick three.
A little off balance there from Perry. She's still shifting to her left when she caught that. Got to set your feet a little quicker.
Shot selection for the Cougars has not been the best here in the first half. Not sure that's the shot Coach Martin wanted.
Good defense, good trap defense. Everyone pulling to the paint as soon as the ball got down there.
And now Ellis is going to kick it out to
Gates,
who thought about a three. She had a lot of space to work with.
Even when she pulled back, Brown was still a couple miles away from her. You got to be able to pull the trigger.
And now Ellis is going to drive in to draw the foul from Ariana Williams. So Ellis, her first trip to the free throw line tonight.
And I think that Gates shot's kind of indicative of what we've seen from this offense. Just a lot of hesitancy, a lot of slowness from this offense. As soon as she had that shot, again, she had a parking lot between her and defender. You got to pull the trigger on that corner three.
Both teams actually on a little bit of a scoring drought as the Cougars not scored a point in 3 minutes, 51 seconds. And Principia hasn't scored in 2 minutes and 46 seconds as Ellis goes 0 for 2 from the line. Free throws have just been a killer for the Cougars here early.
Yeah, well, we just kind of jinxed at the top of the broadcast about how good their free throw shooting has been this year, but it's been, like you said, an Achilles heel tonight. If they convert on, even just 50% of their free throws, they're right in this game.
Principia with the 7-point lead, and now Carter looks like she just, that was Paige Fowler who just threw it up, and now a lousy turnover by the Cougars is going to give the ball right back to Principia.
Well, first off, good defense there in Paige Fowler. We've been seeing hints of that, of when a big gets the ball down low, the Cougars trap her with 2-3 players. That's a good way to stop those big players, is just give them no room to operate horizontally, but then you counter that with a pretty nasty turnover from the pass. Cougars have got to be able to start stringing a couple good plays together.
And now Ellis, again, a nice defensive possession by the Cougars, going to get it to Sydney Mitchell, who goes
good block
up top, but that is blocked by Deja Carter. Again, we're just talking about the size disadvantage. Carter, another one of these 6-foot players on the Panthers roster, going up against a smaller player in Sydney Mitchell. And now Mitchell's going to try to get it into Ellis in the paint. The turnaround jumper is good.
Automatic.
Michaela Ellis.
Yeah, you're not stopping that. Once she finds her spot at the edge of the paint, all she's got to do is turn around. She's making that jumper every day.
That's been her signature shot for the 4 years she's been in River Forest. That shot by Williams, no good. Rebound by the Cougars as Perry gets it in.
You got numbers advantage here, 5-on-4.
Ellis is going to throw it up. Again, it looks like she was off balance. That rebound pulled in by Carter.
And that's just realization, too, there. I mean, I know Ella, she's one of those alpha players. She's going to score on command. But, again, you had a 5-on-4 advantage because of that wasted pick from Principia. You got to be able to move the ball, find that open player.
Now the Cougars, one of their last 8 offensively. And that shot by Henson off the front of the rim. Panthers haven't scored a bucket in over 4 minutes.
Say Principia is not doing much better.
Both teams really struggling offensively as Mitchell goes up but fouled. So she'll take a trip to the free throw line. She was looking for the and one opportunity, just not able to get it to fall. So Mitchell gonna take a trip to the free throw line.
And, you know, that's how you beat these 6-footers defensively when you're on the offense, I should say, is if you're a shorter player, just go up against them. There's a good chance they're going to foul you just because of how big the height disparity is. So if you got someone like Sydney Mitchell, who, according to the roster, listed as 5'2", she's going up against one of those 5'9" players. Just go up. There's a good chance she's going to get a hand on you. You're going to get a foul, get some chance at some free points.
We're in a timeout break. That last timeout was called by Principia College head coach Ramiro Dominguez. A 30-second timeout. Go ahead and keep it here as action getting ready to resume. Both teams really struggling offensively. I mentioned scoring drought for both teams. It's almost been 5 minutes since Principia's last scored a bucket. Meanwhile, the Cougars are one of their last 9 from the field, but an opportunity to get a pair of points here as Sydney Mitchell getting ready to attempt a couple of free throws, her first trip to the charity stripe tonight.
Yeah, it's been an excellent quarter for the Cougars defensively, and all they need to do is stuff like this. Get some free throws, just keep chipping away at that lead, so by the time halftime hits, you know, you're within 4 or 5 points, whatever it may be. Hopefully during the halftime break you can get your shooting, your offense in flow, come out in the second half only down by a couple points. Hopefully this defense carries over as well. The offense, maybe they just need that halftime break that they figure it out.
Sydney Mitchell sinks both of her free throws. The Cougars only trail by 3. A nice defensive possession. Some quick hands from Allie McGregor, but it is returned with a turnover. And now Principia back on offense.
Principia looks like a bunch of defensive backs out here. The way they're picking these passes off, Cougars, they got to shorten these passes a little. They got to be a little bit more snappier. But these, half court, quarter court passes, they got to stop because Principia is all over those.
And it looks like Principia has really upped their defensive game just a little bit. Nice quick hands again. Now Sydney Mitchell running down the court. Wide open lane. Misses the front end. Rebound by McGregor. She can't get it to fall. She's going to throw it back out to Perry. And now to Ellis. She's going to slow things down for the Cougars. One possession game, have a chance to either tie or pull it in one. That's no good. So an empty possession by the Cougars.
You got to hit one of those first 2 shots. 1 on none for Mitchell. That should be a bucket right there. And then Allison McGregor, that looked like a pretty simple bucket as well. You got to be able to convert on at least one of those.
So both teams had their fair share of offensive woes here tonight. Nice hands by Ellis to tip the pass from Henson. And once again, McGregor going to throw it up top to Reed. And Reed is going to pull the Cougars within 1.
So that's kind of the frustrating thing about the deficit right now as you think about all of the blown opportunities CUC has had, missed layups, missed free throws, They could easily be on top by Principia by 1 or 2 possessions here.
And now the three-point attempt from Taylor Brown is going to extend that Panther lead to 4.
That's a momentum killer right there. Good job, good response by Brown. CUC chips their way, pulls within 1. You hit them with a 3 to kill any kind of momentum.
Their last bucket in over 6.5 minutes. That 3 from Reed, no good. Offensive rebound by Ellis, but looks like she stepped out of bounds. So possession going to go right back to the Panthers. Nice effort by Ellis to get that offensive rebound off the Reed miss. Just wasn't able to tiptoe that sideline. So we're going to get an inbound from Carolina Rojas into Taylor Brown, who will take it up for Principia. And now back to Rojas. Gets it up top to Williams. Nice defense by Reed. A three-point attempt by Brown. No good. Fighting for the rebound was Rojas and Ellis. But jump ball and possession arrow favors the Cougars. 56 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, that was a risky three from Brown. I know she just made one, but she was smothered defensively there. Not the best opportunity for a shot. I want to be rethinking that one as Cougars got a chance to pull within one again.
Reed's going to cut, pass out to Perry. Doesn't hit the rim. As Perry, she had the 2 points early in the first quarter, but since has been fairly quiet. But possession going to stay with the Cougars as the inbound from Desjardins tries to get it into Reed. Showing a little bit of athleticism, reeling that one in. Gets it over to Mitchell, who's standing on the wing. Now back cross court to Desjardins. Desjardins, nice move, and some fancy footwork from Alexis Desjardins.
Nice move there by number 12 in gold. Dipping and diving through the defense.
Shot clock off, 20 seconds, and the layup is good for Taylor Brown. Let's see what the Cougars can do. 10 seconds remaining.
Say, now's the time to slow it down here. Get the last shot up.
Kalia Reed. Nice move. That's no good. And the Cougars going to go into halftime trailing by 4 points as Principia leads CUC 26-22. Peter, we're going to go ahead and keep it here for just a second, but you brought this up, thought it was an excellent point. Think about all the missed opportunities the Cougars have had, missed free throws, missed shots, and yet they're only down by 4 points.
Yeah, Cougars, I mean, they're even leading the field goal battle right now, 28-26, but probably the biggest number right now, free throw shooting, 83% for Principia, 38 for the Cougars. They're 3 of 8. You know, they make 2-3 more of those. They're within one possession. They make 4 more of those. We got a tied ball game here, so I think that's going to be a major point, should be a major point of emphasis for Coach Martin in the locker room during the halftime break is we need to settle it down a little bit in terms of executing and just, guys, I mean, these are simple basketball plays. Just trust yourself, trust your instincts, make these layups, make these free throws, and we should be right back in this game because the defense shaped up really nicely in that second quarter.
Looking at the box score, Principia shooting 26% from the field, 11% from 3. The Cougars not much better, 28% from the field, and only 7.5 from 3. So not good shooting from either side. Taylor Brown is leading the Panthers in scoring with 11 points, and for the Cougars, it's Michaela Ellis with 6. And once again, Panthers leading the Cougars 26-22 here at the halftime break. You're listening to the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back for the second half.
I'm a CUC nursing student and choose to stand tall for healing at a university that places Christ at the center and embraces teaching students to live a life fulfilled by purpose and meaning. Concordia University Chicago's new Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree is an innovative and rigorous 4-year program that will prepare you to rise to the daily challenges of a rewarding nursing career and serve a greater cause. Our newly built modern simulation center features 4 distinct spaces, a skills attainment lab, multi-specialty intensive care spaces, a health assessment learning center, and a simulated home environment. Due to our close proximity to many world-class teaching hospitals, CUC's clinical rotations offer an abundance of diverse and real-world experiences. Learn more about earning your BSN at a Christ-centered university today.
Hi, I'm Monica here at Concordia University Chicago, and we're here outside of Concordia Hall. Concordia Hall is the university's newest residence hall, right on the edge of campus, perfect for students who want to explore the nearby downtown of Oak Park and River Forest. The flexible suite-style living in fully furnished bedrooms lets students choose what works best for them. Every floor is complete with a community lounge and full common kitchen, with a kitchenette, microwave, sink, and refrigerator. The first floor offers the Victory Lounge, connecting to 2 additional residence halls, with no shortage of ways to relax. You're also right next to an open, outdoor plaza, better known as Victory Lane.
So now we're here in Concordia Hall's suite-style dorm room, and this is a really nice place to just hang out and chill. And since it's so big, there's plenty of room to spread out and do your homework and just relax. So now making our way into one of the bedrooms, there's plenty of space in this room for you and your roommate. A lot of times students will move the desks so that they've got their separate study space, but my roommate and I, we get along really well, so we can just work together here in the same space. Sometimes I like doing art as well, as you can see by the painting here. It's a 16 by 10 feet space, and most rooms on campus are 10 by 12 feet. So it's really nice to have a little extra space to work with here in Concordia Hall. So this hall is super close to the chapel and the Kennedy Community Center, which has the new Crossroads Dining Hall. So the location is super convenient. And I really love the city scene too. The location here is the closest on campus to the Oak Park River Forest downtown area, which has a ton of great stores and restaurants. Speaking of the city scene, I adore the view from this lounge because you can see the Chicago skyline right there.
Concordia Hall at Concordia University Chicago.
We love the support you give us on and off the court. To donate to our athletic communications department, hit the thank button.
This helps us to continue to have the best live stream possible for some great Cougar basketball moments.
Thank you and enjoy the game.
And we're back as the second half underway here in River Forest as the Panthers leading the Cougars 26-22. Peter, it was a first half filled with many offensive mistakes, lots of missed layups, lots of missed free throws, and the Panthers dominating the Cougars in the rebounding game. But what do the Cougars need to do to really clean up what the mistakes they made in the first half, play a much better, efficient second half?
Well, it was a sloppy first half. I think that goes without saying. But the good thing about it is a lot of this, as I said before, is just trusting yourself as a basketball player. Some of these plays, missing layups, missing free throws, making smart passes, not making passes that are easy to turn over. That's really what it's coming down to. If the Cougars can just shape those up, which again, as a basketball player, those should be simple things to clean up. Those are just instinctual things. Those are things that a lot of players should be able to do with their eyes closed. The Cougars can just clean that up, play clean basketball. Again, if they've been playing clean basketball this whole game, they're going to be up by a couple possessions probably. So if the Cougars, if they could have used that halftime break, honestly, just to say, if us Coach Martin, just say, guys, let's calm things down here. Let's just reset. Let's go out there and just play some clean, good basketball. Cougars should be able to take care of this one.
It is going to shape up to be a much more interesting second half as both teams making their way back out onto the court. Getting the second half start for the Cougars is Kalia Reed, Alexis Desjardins, Leela Scott, Michaela Ellis, and Allison McGregor. And for the Panthers, it's number 3, Carolina Rojas, Taylor Brown, Ariana Williams, Alana Henson, and Trinity Matthews. And Panthers are going to start out with the ball first here in the third quarter as Carolina Rojas dribbling around Leela Scott.
It's an aggressive defense there with Michaela Ellis hedging off her player, basically trapping.
And just inside the three-point line, that shot from Taylor Brown, no good, but Panthers going to clean it up on the offensive rebound as they get the layup to go. The Cougars trailing by 6.
So offensive rebounds killing the Cougars right now. A lot of second chance points for Principia that they're usually converting.
Nice pass into Allison McGregor in the paint. the Cougars going to return the favor as Allison McGregor gets her first points of the night.
You know, McGregor, she should be a key to this second half comeback if it's in the cards. I mean, she's the tallest player the Cougars got. If she can start cutting to the paint at smart times, get inside passes like that, entering passes like that from Michaela Ellis, she should be able to finish a lot of these baskets. So Cougars, like you said, Parker, those are just her first points of the game. They need her to come alive here.
And now Ellis at the top of the key. Gets it over to Reed. Back to Ellis, who's going to try a three. That's no good. Just misses the mark. Looked like it had a chance, but going to result in an out of bounds. And the Panthers going to go right back on offense as Rojas taking it up the court. Peter, you mentioned the Cougars trying to apply a little bit more defensive pressure.
The Cougars trapping a little bit more, using hedges, going 2-on-1 as we see here with Reed and Scott, trying to force those turnovers. They know how sloppy this game has been, so they want to take full advantage of that.
And Ariana Williams slices her way through that defense for another bucket. Despite that, trying to up that defensive pressure, the Cougars have given up a couple easy buckets as looks like Taylor Brown taking the charge.
Defensive foul, I believe.
So it's going to be a block on Taylor Brown as Michaela Ellis was driving in on that left side. Inbounding will be Desjardins. She'll get it into Reed. Cougars trying to run out of bounds play, trying to get it over to Princess Gates. Quick hands by Williams. A bunch of bodies on the floor. Some confusion on the court as well.
So Desjardins asking for an explanation. She tripped up the Principia player. So you called Parker as number 12, Marina Williams, but nowhere near intentional. I mean, I think it was pretty clear she was going for the ball there. Williams just ended up tripping over.
It was a little confusing. The ref threw up the 12. Both players were wearing number 12, but the foul's going to go on Alexis Desjardins. A three from Brown. No good. Rebound by Desjardins.
They say you had Ellis wide open by herself down court. I know.
Second free throw is good. So 1 for 2 for Princess Gates, as they're trying to cut into that Panther lead. Cougars trailing 32-25. That shot by Henson is good. The three-pointer finds its way home. And now Princess Gates gets it to Allison McGregor. Reed gonna drive in.
Oh, nice
misses
move.
the layup. It was a nice move, just not able to finish. We've seen just Kalia Reed just out of sorts tonight, not looking like her usual self. But that McGregor gonna draw the foul for the Cougars, so that'll send her to the free throw line. Her shot off the back of the iron.
Yeah, Reed averaging just over 13 points a game so far this season. She's currently sitting at 3 in 19 minutes. 1 field goal on 10 attempts, and then 1 free throw out of her 4 attempts. So uncharacteristic for who's been a standout freshman for the Cougars to start the year.
A nice move by Brown, but it's going to be called a travel. We'll get some substitutions in for the Panthers. Number 1, Alyssa White, and for the Cougars, number 0, Missouri Wiggum. We saw she had 2 fouls in that first quarter. Coach Martin decided to take her out, not play her for the rest of the half, but here she is coming back into the game here in the second half. Cougars desperately need something on offense. And now Ellis, nice pass to McGregor, just doesn't catch it on the first attempt, goes off of her hands and out of bounds. Really nice pass from Ellis.
That's a beautiful give and go between McGregor and Ellis. McGregor feeding to Ellis. Ellis had 2 players because Ellis was in her sweet spot, so all she did was hand it right back to McGregor, but unable to corral that pass.
And that goes off of the hands of Wiggum. She was able to get the deflection. Panthers going to remain on offense as that passes into Williams. Williams has done some solid work offensively for Principia. That shot from Rojas, no good. Rebound pulled in by Reed. She's racing up court. Couple whistles blown. There's some confusion on the court.
I think the clocks went out for a second. Yeah, clocks went out, so refs are resetting the clock and everything.
Looks like the shot clock didn't start, excuse me. So I believe the discussion is to take 4 seconds off of the shot clock, so that would set it to 26 seconds.
Shot clock reset to 26 seconds.
Now that is all sorted out, 4 minutes, 21 seconds remaining in the third quarter, 26 seconds on the shot clock. Plenty of time to work with on the possession for the Cougars. To inbound, Michaela Ellis. She'll get it into Reed, standing just beyond half court. Reed, plenty of space. She's going to try another 3. No good. That rebound pulled in by Alyssa White. Kalia Reed, as her 3-point struggles continue, she's 0 for 6 tonight.
Yeah, gutsy 3 there. Step back, James Harden-esque 3, and just not able to convert.
And a lapse on the defensive end as Trinity Matthews goes for the reverse layup and gets that one. Principia now with their biggest lead of the night, 13 points, leading the Cougars 39-26. Another 3 from Reed. Misses the mark off the right side.
Reed now sitting at 0-7 from beyond the arc, and I mentioned it towards the beginning of the game as Principia turning it over on the travel, but when the 3-point shot's not working, then you got to change it up. You got to start cutting the rim, as Reed's just going to get a break altogether on the bench. But when things aren't going your way for 3-pointers or whatever it may be, then you got to change things up a little bit. You got to find some way to get points on the board. and stop taking some threes when you're just not able to hit them.
That pass, it deflects off the foot of Princess Gates. The Cougars just stringing together some sloppy possessions as this scoring drought continues. Haven't scored a point in 6 minutes of action. They're 0 for their last 8. And Carolina Rojas driving in and gets the bucket. Principia continuing to build off of their lead.
So that was a great cut by Rojas on the baseline. All the ball handler had to do was bounce it to her, and there's another costly turnover for CUC.
The Williams is going to take that one, misses. Offensive rebound by White. White's putback no good. She's going to get another chance at it, but is fouled. So that's going to send freshman Alyssa White to the free throw line for a pair of shots. We're going to get another timeout by Coach Lauren Martin and the Cougars. This will be a 30-second timeout. Go ahead and keep it here. 2:31 remaining in the third quarter. So Peter Principia getting a chance here at the free throw line, but the Cougars just not able to get it done offensively. Couple turnovers, lots of missed shots. What's really gone wrong for the team here in the third quarter?
Well, they're not adjusting from the mistakes we saw in the first half. We're still seeing bad passes. We're still seeing dropped passes, whatever it may be. I mean, those are mistakes that you have to clean up, and that's what I highlighted during halftime, or coming back from halftime, I should say, is that if you clean those mistakes up, you're right in this game, because Principia, until the last couple minutes or so, they've gone on a nice little run here to build up their lead. Principia has not been playing great basketball by any means either, so for the Cougars, if they just clean those passes up, you know, they clean those costly, usually unforced turnovers up, then things would have been looking a lot better here, but we're still seeing that. We're seeing sloppy passes. We're seeing bad decisions when it comes to passing, bad shot taking. So CUC, I mean, the best case scenario right now is, you know, you pull back within 10 or so by the time this quarter ends, and then you really got to lock in come fourth quarter, because the adjustments that needed to be made at halftime were not made.
Alyssa White 0 for 2 from the free throw line, so the Cougars get a break. That is rebounded by Abby Kulig. So the Cougars get a much-needed break. Again, White 0 for 2 that last trip to the free throw line. Princess Gates, nice move, and she's going to get the bucket.
Nice baseline floater. And another kind of gutsy shot there from a Cougar. I mean, shots have not been falling as of late. First bucket in over 2 minutes and 16 seconds, but a baseline floater with one hand. I mean, why not? Of course, defensively, you go down, you let up the 2, so kind of negates that at all. You just hope you can build off the momentum of making your first bucket in a while.
Time winding down here in the third quarter. Nice pass from Ellis, who's going to get it right back to Gates, and Gates going to get the layup. She's now scored 4 consecutive points, providing a little bit of a spark off the bench. That's really what she's done in her 3 years in River Forest, has provided that much-needed spark offensively.
Both of them baseline drives as well.
And that's going to be out of bounds. Last touch by the Cougars. Going to get some more substitutions in the game for Principia. Number 3, Carolina Rojas, and number 33, Natalie Clark. And for the Cougars, making her first appearance tonight, number 11, Emma Nickerson, the freshman out of Lake City, Michigan. And number 12, Alexis Desjardins.
Yeah, Nickerson, first player we've seen in a while getting her first minutes here. First new player entering the game. I guess that's a better way to say it. And I think Coach Martin just looking for a spark here, going deep in the bench, picking up the freshman in Nickerson, hoping that she could just provide something to get this team going in the last minute 15.
And she does exactly that. Some nice hands by Nickerson as she gets the tip defensively. And now Ellis working with it, working against Williams. Nice moves by Ellis. Going to get it back to Gates. Ooh, I'm not sure who that pass was intended for. Both Malia Perry and Emma Nickerson were in the area as Gates takes a hard fall.
So he got hit there by Trinity Matthews. Matthews just colliding into her.
Some more substitutions for Principia. It's number 23, Angel Gassama Diose into the game, as well as Paige Fowler, called her name a couple of times tonight, as Williams taking it up the court for the Panthers, guarded by Nickerson and Desjardins. And Miracle Anderson with the takeaway, trying to get down the court, gets it to Desjardins, who's going to try a three, and it's good.
There we go.
Alexis Desjardins from the wing.
It's a great defense offense there. Miracle Anderson forces the tip and then able to pick up the rebound off of that. Good find in Desjardins as well. Desjardins, she's been so solid the last couple of games for the Cougars.
And another jump ball. And I believe the possession arrow is going to favor the Cougars. Alexis Desjardins, the only player to hit a three-pointer tonight for the Cougars. She's hit 2 of them.
Yeah, again, Desjardins, she's been so good this last stretch of games for the Cougars, especially when Michaela Ellis was dealing with some injury stuff. And Desjardins, the leading scorer on the court right now for CUC with 8 points. Leading scorer in general, I should say, for CUC with 8 points.
Now Kalia Reed back into the game here. Shot clock off, 7 seconds to work with. Reed has that ball stripped by Williams. Williams trying to make something happen, but her layup is no good. Cougars trying to chip away at this lead. They trail 41-33 heading into the fourth quarter. Should prove to be an exciting finish as the Cougars are able to create a little momentum. We'll be back for the fourth quarter here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Cougar fans, thanks for tuning into today's game.
For more information on the women's basketball program, head to cucougars.com.
We hope to see you at our next game.
We're back for the start of the fourth quarter. The Panthers leading the Cougars 41-33. Cougars able to create a little bit of momentum towards the end of the third quarter off the Alexis Desjardins 3. Provided a spark for sure as Brown taking it up the court for Principia. Gets it to Williams. Williams stumbles with it. And we're going to get a quick timeout by Ramiro Dominguez. That'd be a 30-second timeout. We're also going to get a substitution for the Panthers as Trinity Matthews is going to check in. Peter, the Cougars trailing by 8 points here at the start of the fourth quarter. Mentioned able to create a little bit of momentum towards the end of the third. What do they need to do to keep that momentum going?
Well, I mean, it's open shots, it's defense to offense like we saw at the end of that last quarter. And, I mean, again, I feel like the path to a win here and a comeback is fairly cut and dry for CUC, which is just clean up the mistakes that we've been harping on all night. And it's going to take some spark plug plays like what we saw out of Miracle Anderson, causing the turnover, taking it down court, and then assisting on Desjardins' 3. It's going to take big plays like that.
As the 3 from Williams misses the mark, rebound by Perry. Tries to get it up court to Nickerson. Nickerson kind of in some trouble, gets it back out to Perry, but a lousy pass, and that's intercepted by Ariana Williams, who may not get an easier layup than that. And pushes this lead to double digits. The Panthers leading by 10 points.
That was just a good play by Williams there. Perfect read on that pass. She saw it coming all the way. There's a quick pass, too. It's not like Cougars held on to the ball for a second. Williams is just in the right spot at the right time.
And that was poked away by Henson. I believe they're going to get the foul on Malia, or excuse me. It'll go against Alexis Desjardins. No, that will be on Malia Perry, excuse me. And that'll send Taylor Brown to the line. Misses her first free throw attempt.
Perry's got to be careful and foul watch now with 3 on the night. 2 more and she'll be out of here.
And second attempt from Brown finds its way home. Panthers now leading by 11 as Miracle Anderson going to take it up court for the Cougars. And now Desjardins standing with it. Tries to get it into the low post to Nickerson, but that's taken away by Brown. She's been active all night defensively. And now the Cougars just trying to get it right back, but that's back to Rojas, who's standing at the top, and they're going to get the travel on Taylor Brown.
A lot of travels tonight as well. That's something we haven't really picked up on, is so many times these players are getting tacked at that. Another mental mistake there. Players not realizing they picked up their dribble, whatever it may be.
And despite the 11-point lead for Principia, both teams, have not necessarily played well. There have been lots of mistakes on both sides as that layup just thrown up by Anderson. Now Anderson gonna get a quick foul on Alana Henson.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of low-effort layups we've talked about. You got to go up, fight through some contact, at least draw the foul. Instead, Anderson just hucks it up from hip level. So you got to rise up a little bit and put a better effort towards putting the ball through the net, but at least do your best to draw a foul if not.
Now that's into Rojas. Some heavy defensive pressure by Kalia Reed, who's back into the game for the Cougars. Just checked in for Desjardins. A rebound pulled in by Gates. That's back to Ellis, who's going to be running the show here for the Cougars. Gets it up court to Anderson. Now back up top to Ellis for 3. No good. Rebound pulled in by Lydia Stallnicker. And now that's it. Back to Rojas, who gets it to Henson, who's playing on the wing. Some quick hands by Anderson. Anderson has to be careful. She's already had that quick foul not too many possessions ago. We'll get another timeout called, another 30-second break.
They have a good defense there from Anderson. She fought over the top of the screen. So when the player sets the screen, she goes over her. She stays right on the hip of the person using the screen rather than going under the screen, kind of dropping back a little bit. And then that led to a trap of the ball carrier between her and Ellis, and that's what caused Coach Dominguez to burn through another timeout here with 7:36 still left to go in the game. So team's up by double digits here. You got to think if you're Principia, all you got to do is play some good, fair basketball. Should be able to maintain that lead.
Anderson has come off the bench and played some solid minutes for the Cougars. Tell that she's given a lot of effort, but you just trying to get flash some quick hands, but it's just when she brings those hands down that she draws the foul. That pass into Henson, who tries to get it to Trinity Matthews, but that was stripped.
Good defense there by Reed. Wasn't even a strip, it was just a slap down. And what that does is when it knocks the ball out of the player's hands, in this case Matthews, it ends up in her lap around her legs. So when she keeps going out of bounds, she knocks the ball out. That's what causes the turnover as well. So great set of hands there by Kalia Reed.
And now Malia Perry going to drive in, but foul called on the Cougars.
Players breaking out the passports, all the traveling going on tonight.
Lots of traveling going on. We'll get the pass in by Matthews. Gets it into Ariana Williams, who's guarded by Gates. On Williams, that pass deflected originally by Ellis.
Yep, good hands by Ellis.
Now back to Mitchell, who gets it to Gates, and Gates just misses the layup. And now Rojas down on the court. Looks like she might have taken a hit by Princess Gates. A little slow to get up.
They ran into each other there.
That foul's going to be tacked on to Sydney Mitchell.
It's kind of a oddly physical game. A lot of it off ball here as another good defensive play there by Reed. Rojas had an open lane to the net, and Reed comes up and again slaps the ball down. At least causes a reset here. Gives the Cougars a chance to get the other 4 gold jerseys down court.
Reed has flashed quick hands several times.
Well, she had 5 steals in their last game against Manchester. We haven't mentioned that all night.
And now Rojas, that shot, air ball, rebound by Ellis. She's going to pull it down for the Cougars. Looking up court, doesn't have anything. She's going to take it herself.
Oh, yeah.
And
good
that
jumper.
Shot is good by Michaela Ellis.
That's money every time. So what the Cougars kind of need here, which they haven't had, is they need that one player like Ellis or even Kalia Reed, who we've seen be able to do it, to just take over a game here. I mean, Reed, she's sitting at 3 points. Ellis is at 8. And you need one of those alpha-type players to just step up, say, all right, we're down by about 10 with 6:30 left to go roughly. That's plenty of time for a comeback of that size. We need one player to just step up and start getting buckets. And if Michaela Ellis is going to make tough jumpers like that, that's the players it's going to be.
Now Rojas for 3. No good. Pulled in by Princess Gates. As Kalia Reed with the quarterback pass, trying to get it up the court to Sydney Mitchell.
Well, Parker, former quarterback, I know I don't need to tell you this, but you got to lead your receiver there. That pass a little bit behind Sydney Mitchell.
It was a dangerous pass for sure, but Reed just trying to get something quick as we'll get another foul call on the Cougars. That's going to go against Princess Gates, who is listed as number 2 on the roster, but wearing number 10 right now.
I believe, got an explanation earlier, I believe it's 10 when she's wearing gold, number 2 when she's wearing maroon. So for all those fans keeping track at home of rosters, you see gold, number 10, Princess Gates. You see maroon, number 2.
And now Taylor Brown's able to connect on her first free throw. Second free throw rolls around a little bit, but finds its way home as well. So 2 for 2 on that trip for Taylor Brown. Now Ellis going to dish it back out to Perry. Nice shot fake and 1! Malia Perry. Foul called on Alana Henson. Really nice pump fake by Malia Perry. Takes it inside the three-point line and splashes it from mid-range. And now an and one opportunity for the senior.
That's the kind of play that can jumpstart something here. Now she finishes the three-point play. You're within 8, which is a lot better than where the Cougars have been in this fourth quarter. That's a momentum swinger right here. If we can get it, if the Cougars can get a defensive stop here, that's only going to add on to it.
Nice hands by Gates. That's going to be out of bounds on her. She was going up against Ariana Williams.
So Principia hasn't made a field goal in the last 3:36. Cougars playing some lockdown defense.
And of course, as you say that, they get a bucket.
Sorry, Cougar fans.
As Matthews gets the kiss off the glass. Kalia Reed working up against Rojas. Gets it back to Ellis, standing at the top of the key. Now Perry for 3. In and out.
In and out, yeah. That's a tough break there. Good shot opportunity. Good shot, too. Just the rim a little unforgiving in that circumstance.
That's back to Trinity Matthews, who's now scored 4 consecutive points. She gets the turnaround going up against Malia Perry.
Yeah, Matthews a lot more athletic than I think we typically see out of 6-footers. And there's Michaela Ellis doing her thing. Again, you need a player right now to take over this game if you're the Cougars. Michaela Ellis, she's shown the signs of her being the best option right now.
Yeah, Michaela Ellis, the only player in double figure scoring for the Cougars. She has 10 points. Next closest is Alexis Desjardins with 8. Desjardins currently on the bench. The inbound is Rojas. She gets it into Williams. Williams now to Fowler. No good. That's going to be last touch to believe by Princess Gates. As we'll get a substitution for the Cougars back into the game, number 44, Miracle Anderson. She will check out Sydney Mitchell. Quick pass in to Alana Henson. She's going to draw the foul from Malia Perry.
5th foul, so Principia in the bonus now, which Cougars running into foul problems at probably the worst time possible in this 4th quarter. Relatively clean game up until this point for CUC, and now we're seeing a lot more free throws come for Principia when CUC, they need to be closing the gap. You're down by 10, could be 12 after this free throw trip. Could be 11 after this free throw trip, but you got 4:33, and that's kind of the point where, all right, we need to stop. We need to start getting stops defensively and start pointing points up before that lead gets too big for the time left on the clock.
That first shot off the back iron, but that second shot, nothing but net from Alana Henson. So 1 for 2 from the free throw line for the senior out of St. Clair, Missouri. And now Kalia Reed's going to decide to pull a 3. No good. She has yet to hit a 3-pointer tonight. She's 0 for her last 8.
0 for 8. Yeah, rough night from beyond the arc for Reed. Rough night in general for someone who's been so good as a freshman for CUC. And, you know, every player is going to have that kind of game. And if you're Reed, at least you're going to have that hopefully in this last non-con game before conference play starts this Saturday, as Abby Kulik took a hard fall. I think she slid too, so court burn.
Abby Kulik down on the court for the Cougars. Go ahead and take a quick pause in the action. You're listening to the Cougar Sports Network.
Interested to find out more about Concordia Chicago?
Head to cuchicago.edu for information on our university.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in today's game. Hope to see you soon.
Back here on the Cougar Sports Network for more fourth quarter action as Abby Kulig being helped off the court, walking under her own power, which is a good sign. Peter, you mentioned it might have been a little bit of court burn.
Yeah, she came down hard on her knee, which not fun to begin with. And then when you slide across a hardwood floor, you're going to get burned up as well. So probably a couple things for Kulig to deal with. But like you said, Parker, good to see her under her own power, make her way back to the bench. She's provided valuable minutes for the Cougars as a freshman so far this year, averaging just under 20 minutes a game. So good to see she's able to make her way to the bench without much help.
And a free throw trip for number 34, Paige Fowler, as she connects with her first free throw. And second free throw is good as well. Panthers as a team, 11 for 16 from the charity stripe tonight. On the other hand, the Cougars 6 of 13. And I know there have been a lot of mistakes for both teams, but got to think free throws plays a major factor in that.
Well, that and three-point shooting has been lackluster, to say the least, for CUC, 2 for 23, which they brought in Desjardins back into the game, the only player who's made a three-pointer for him, as they're going to start needing to hit some threes, as we got about 3.5 minutes, and the Cougars down by 13 here. So don't be surprised if we see a lot of looks from beyond the arc for Desjardins.
Got to make up for some missed opportunities, as Rojas taking it up the court for the Panthers. Gets it to Ariana Williams. And a foul called. Not sure if this is going to go against, it looks like it will go against Gates, as she got a piece of Williams from behind. So that's going to send Williams back to the line. Another free throw opportunity for Principia College, as Williams' first free throw bounces up into the air and then finds its way through the bottom of the net.
And the thing about the free throws tonight is Principia hasn't even had a ton more than CUC. They'll be at 18 after, they're at 18 now after that last trip. CUC, they've had 13 free throw attempts, but it's been the free throw makes, that's what's hurting CUC. And the fact that CUC's given up these free throws this late into the game when you need to be closing that gap, not giving the other team free points to widen the gap.
Rebound by Rojas, trying to get it to Williams. That's a takeaway by Desjardins. Tries to get the pump fake. Rebound by Ellis. Now back to Desjardins.
Ooh.
And one opportunity, no good. She almost was able to get that one to go. It would have been an and one opportunity, but resulting in the miss. So Desjardins now with the trip to the free throw line.
Desjardins' physical play so infectious for the Cougars. Causes a turnover with Michaela Ellis at half court on Williams. Then, misses the layup but gets the ball back, goes up for a physical shot through contact. Misses that one as well, but able to walk away with at least 1 point here, hopefully 2, and get the Cougars back within 13.
So Desjardins makes her first free throw attempt. And she's 2 for 2. Much needed free throws for the Cougars. Those were Desjardins' only free throw attempts tonight. She is 2 for 2 as a team. Cougars up to 8 for 15.
Desjardins right back at it, causing a quick turnover.
So a quick turnover, but Allie McGregor trying to come down with the rebound, but travel will be called. So means Principia go back on offense. To inbound will be Trinity Matthews. Cougars
swarming the ball. 2-3 jerseys on it. 2 right here.
Applying that full court pressure. That's into Henson, who's being guarded by Gates. Henson, the turnaround, no good. Rebound pulled in by Anderson. Anderson going to get it to Ellis. Ellis going to take it up the court for the Cougars. That's to Desjardins. Desjardins with a 3, and it's good! Alexis Desjardins, the only player with a made 3 tonight. And she's 3 for 3. 3 for 4.
She's got the hot sauce on the bench. Needs to start passing it around a little, but she's there to make up for her teammates' shooting woes. But the Cougars, they're going to need a couple more of those, down by 10. So Desjardins got to keep the hot streak up, 3 for 5.
But a foul on the defensive end. So another trip to the free throw line for Principia. shooting the free throws, number 4, Taylor Brown. Brown leads the team in scoring tonight with 16. The Panthers have 3 players with 10 or more points. As Brown's first free throw off the back iron. One more attempt coming up.
So this is pretty much the game plan right now, is you need to start making threes and start hoping they miss some free throw shooting, So that's how you can get back in this game. 11-point lead right now. 2 minutes to go, just about.
And now Anderson working against Williams. Drives in. That pass intercepted by Taylor Brown. Lousy pass from Anderson results in the turnover. Cougars have now turned the ball over 27 times in this contest, 15 times just in the half alone.
Luckily for them, Principia, they've only scored 16 points off those turnovers, which isn't a great margin. But the other part of a turnover is you can't score the bucket. You can't score a bucket then.
And Henson, the air ball from the top of the key. You hear the air ball chants from the fans in Geisman. And now Anderson going to take it up the court for CUC. Anderson working against Williams. Williams able to get a piece of that.
It's a bright spot. Cougars defensively. They've held Henson to just 6 points.
And who else other than Michaela Ellis? She has been on fire when shooting tonight. Michaela Ellis, 5 of 12 from the field. 6 of 13. She now has 13 points. She's now the second Cougar to have a made three-pointer here in the contest, 1 or 4 from 3. And a foul on the defensive end. So another trip to the free throw line for Principia as Carolina Rojas to attempt a pair of free throws. That first one, no good.
Principia has been missing some free throws as of late, coming away from the last couple of trips, 1 for 2 usually, which bodes really well for the Cougars if they can start sinking some long balls like we saw Michaela Ellis just make. But 10-point game right now. You need to start hitting those threes.
Cougars trailing by 10. We're under a minute to go here in the fourth quarter. Jump ball. And possession arrow, a little confusion on that, but
I think they're going to call a foul.
Yeah, it looks like it is a foul.
And because of the bonus, it's shots up for Principia.
We'll get a couple of new faces in for the Cougars. Number 22, Lindley Southern, checks in for CUC, as well as number 25, Janie Turnez, the birthday girl for the Cougars. Also, number 24, Kayla Jackson. So Coach Martin just emptying out her bench here in the final minute of play here in the fourth quarter.
Again, but you didn't catch it earlier. CUC, they begin conference play this Saturday with a trip 5 minutes down the street to Dominican University. So maybe another point of this last 51.9 seconds for Coach Martin is seeing who she's got on the bench, seeing what she's got on the bench. So when it comes down to crunch time in those conference games, which end of the season, those what really matter playoff-wise, she knows who she's got, who she can turn to.
Now to inbound for CUC is Southern. Sydney Mitchell taking it up the court for the Cougars. Trail by 12. Time winding down.
You got to get a shot up. You don't have time to just...
Nice pass by Mitchell. That's into Anderson, who got the layup. Going up with the left hand.
Good bucket there by Anderson. But like I said, you're down by double digits with 36 seconds to go, sub 40 seconds to go when the shot was put up. You got to put up a shot a little bit quicker. You got to make up a lot of points here and not a lot of time.
Now a trip to the free throw line for Rojas. Principia leading 60-49. Add off the front iron. Rebound pulled in by Southern. Gets it up court to Mitchell.
So you got to shoot here. You got to get something up if you want to have any chance at this game.
And now Turness. Back to Anderson.
I think Cougars just said try to run a play here, see how good these bench players can do it. And there's Lindley Southern, which that'll be her first collegiate points. So there's a positive to come out of this last minute. Number 22 in gold, scoring her first 2 as a Cougar.
For a pair of points for Lindley Southern, the first of her career. Teammates really happy for her, but Cougars are going to drop this one 60-51 to Principia College. The Cougars lost 4 straight. Now with the loss to Principia, meanwhile, Panthers are going to improve to 2-2 overall. They snap a little skid of their own as well, getting the win on the road. Real quick look at box score for the Cougars. They had 2 leading scorers. Michaela Ellis with 13 points on 6 of 13 shooting from the field. Also had the 1 made three-pointer. And Alexis Desjardins, 13 points as well. She was the hot hand coming off the bench, 3 of 5 from three-point range. And those 13 points. And Peter, it was really a sloppy performance by both teams, but ultimately Principia just came out on top. But what do the Cougars need to build off of? You mentioned they'll be on the road at Dominican on Saturday, the Division Street rivalry. What do they need to build off of today going into that rivalry matchup on Saturday?
Well, I think this will be a good game to learn some lessons from for the Cougars, even if it was learned in a ugly way for the team. I mean, like we've said a couple of times, Parker, this was a very winnable game for CUC. You dropped the game by 9 points, but you look at the missed free throws, the missed layups, the messy passes, the messy turnovers, whatever it may be. You look at all those, you say, hey, if a handful of those go the other way, this game could be in overtime. We could even be winning. The Cougars could be down by just a couple points, whatever you want to say. So there's a lot of stuff that you can build off of. It's just going to be about looking at that film and saying, hey, these are the points that we really need to clean up. These are the types of passes not to make, stuff like that. And I think this should be good incentive for some of these players before we get to Saturday's game, just go through those fundamentals during practice, the layup line, free throw shooting, whatever it may be, just shoring up every little detail of this game. So when you go to Dominican, which is going to be a tough game just because of the rivalry between these two teams separated by a 5-minute drive, when you go to that game, you're not worrying about the little details. That's kind of the last thing as a coach you want to worry about are little details like that. You want to worry about X's and O's, scheming, how to beat defenses, how to beat offenses, whatever it may be. You don't want to be worrying about your players making layups, free throws, etc. So I think this will be an incentive for the Cougars to clean those up. So by the time they get to Saturday, it's just about coming up with a good game plan to beat Dominican.
Once again, the Cougars drop this contest to Principia College 60-51. They'll be on the road on Saturday at Dominican University, the Division Street rivalry. Tip-off is set for 1 p.m. Real quick, want to give a shout-out to our student workers who were able to make this production possible. Our spotter was Chandler Kerr. Down on the scoreboard, Wyatt McLaughlin working the camera. Juan Woodley and William Bishop Green. Our cameraman, Sabre Miller. We are under the production of Sydney Palaskis-Laher and our sports information director, Caleb McLeod. But as for me and my partner, Peter Borkowski, signing off, wanting to wish you a good night and go Cougars.
For tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.